Flosstube. Welcome to weekly update number 35. Today is Friday, January the 17th, 2020, and I am Annie Joy-Filled Stitcher, both here on Flosstube as well as on Instagram, and this is my channel about cross-stitching. All things cross-stitching WIPs, cross-stitching plans, cross-stitching stash, and occasionally some other crafts thrown in when I feel like it. This week there will be some appearance of some sewing projects. So first, let me say thank you to those who are my returning viewers, returning subscribers. I appreciate you more than you know, and there are a growing number of you. So I have some folks that watch week to week and comment week to week that have been with me for quite some time. I started this Flosstube journey back in mid-May of 2019, so I'm a little over the half-year mark, and I am blown away with just the kindness of the comments, the supportive and encouraging nature of comments, and just how wonderful everybody is in welcoming to this growing community on Flosstube. And I know Flosstube is not new. It does seem to have exploded, like everybody has a Flosstube, everybody and their mom, and sometimes together, like Pam and Steph. And I don't know where I've been living, maybe under a rock, but I found them back in December, and I'm like obsessed with watching all their videos. They are amazing and hysterical and just fantastic. So let's do a little bit. Let me tell you kind of how this is going to go. Oh, one more thing. Welcome to all of you who are new. If this is your first time visiting with me, or my last week's video was my first one, or my WIP parade was the first thing that you watched of mine, welcome to you as well. I'm thrilled to have you here. Just a little bit of info of me. I'm Annie. I am an elementary school teacher. I am a wife. I am a mom of one who at the end of next week will turn 8. 8 is great. And I lovingly refer to her as Joy-Filled Little One. And I also do part-time accounting for my mom's small business. I have been a cross-stitcher off and on for probably the last, let's see, I learned when I was 16, so 23 years. Had periods I was on, periods I was off since 2019. Well, late 2018 into 2019, I have been on. Like, just enjoyed it so much. So, this week's video, I have 2 FFOs to show you. I have some, I had one new start. I did not intend to have any more new starts, but one of them is one of the Australian relief effort charts, and I went ahead and started that. I have like 2 stash things and some WIPs to share, and a little bit about like what I'm going to work on this next week, just more for my information. No big huge plans in the making. So this past week has been a good stitching week. Joy-Filled Little One was sick Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I was home from work on Monday and Tuesday. I got a little bit of stitching in, but I was kind of helping her with stuff. I did work on some other crafty projects, and I am going to share those because they are stitching related. They're stitching adjacent. And I do, because I am over 800 subscribers now. I hit over 800 at some point, I think over last weekend, or it may have even just been as late as like Monday. And so I have a pass the stash I want to do today. So that'll come at some point in the video. I will have to go grab that because I forgot it. And so yeah, let's just dive right in. So I'm actually going to show you one FFO to start, I think. I may just show you both. Okay, so because it kind of goes in together. I last week had showed, let me start with my Stitchy FFO. So I finished this back, I think over the summer I finished this. And if you've watched any of my old videos, back in May, I started this piece on May 17th, which was my Mimi's birthday. It was her first birthday in heaven. She passed away September of 2018. Her passing was kind of the roundabout way that I came back to stitching so much, is that stitching helped me to re-establish joy in my life that had been lost when she passed away suddenly. Well, so the story behind this piece is that whenever I spoke with her, the first words out of her mouth over the phone, and we always talked on Friday nights, so I kind of find it fitting that my videos are on Friday nights. I kind of film them around the back. I'm a little early tonight, but usually I film them, and it's just now occurring to me that I do this. I actually film them around about the time that we would talk. So I think that that's helping to fill that void, is I'm talking to you instead of talking to my grandmother. I still miss those. And I have some voicemails that I had in my, I went back and I actually found them in my deleted voicemails, and it's her voice, and I've saved them so I can have them forever. So yeah. But whenever she would speak to me, she would say, "Hello, beautiful. Is this my beautiful granddaughter I'm talking to?" And so I charted, "Hello, beautiful." And I stitched this. I think I stitched this on a piece of, I don't remember what the specifics are. I think it's a 16 count Aida. And I stitched it in Gentle Arts. I think it's Cherry Wine. I think. I'm not 100% sure of that. But it's a beautiful red. And so I stitched it. And it was finished. And it kind of was languishing in my finish drawer. And so it says, "Hello, beautiful." And so I just did a simple hoop finish. I had this cotton kind of like crocheted ribbon in my in a bucket in my craft room with my ribbons and things, and I did a hoop finish, and all I did was I took some fabric. This was some that I had that I thought was cute, and I placed it so that the wrong sides were together, and then I just cut really close. So I know it's not super well finished on the back, but this, to me, I wanted it up on my wall. And so I had it hanging. I pulled it down, but I have it hanging on that hook right kind of there. And so it will hang right above my "I know the plans I have for you." This is already charted in a PDF kind of format. However, it's not completely finished out, like with cover image and all of that. So I am going to take a cover image photo, and I am going to put this up in my Etsy shop. And I do have a link below. This chart, the "I know the plans I have for you," which is Jeremiah 29:11, is also in my shop. This was stitched with Mrs. Sados silk in popcorn, and I did a hoop finish on that as well. It is not completely finished, so I'm going to go back and actually take this out. This is a vintage hoop. I'm going to take it out of the hoop and do a very similar finish to this with a really bright kind of pink, purple, and blue, turquoisey blue fabric kind of to match, and finish that one out. Or I'll lace it. I don't know. See, I've already done the ribbon, so I'm kind of like debating what I want to do with that. And then this is going to go up in the shop. And then the other one that's in there is Squirrely Welcome. And that is on my list to also FFO. I haven't decided how I want to do it yet. So until I kind of figure that out, that one's pretty special to me. And so, oh, and to those of you that have purchased one of my charts, thank you so much. Like, it's kind of nice to every now and again see that somebody else has found one of my 2 charts and is choosing to purchase it with their whatever their limited funding is. And so I really appreciate that. And for now, since HL Moth is still not over here, I did get a replacement frame. It looks pitiful over there, but at least it's back up on the wall. HL Moth needs to be it's laced and everything. It needs to go back in a frame because that frame kept falling off the wall, and finally after the 4th time it cracked at the corner, and that's just a big old mess. Okay, so last week I shared that I had bought some of the charity charts, and so I did have one start, and I'll show that in a minute. But one of the other things that I had shared that I had bought was I had bought this. This is by So Quirky, and this is their Koala Pop, and it's Elton and Peaches. And so I actually chose to turn Elton into a project bag to hold my crafty pieces. And so I just kind of like came up with this. I have had, when I was a kid, I took sewing classes. I learned to sew on a machine at 5 because of my mom. I bugged her. She said I bugged her to the point where she said fine and sat me down with like a piece of paper at the sewing machine, and I had to sew straight lines. And once I mastered straight lines, I then had to do like wavy lines and zigzaggy lines. And so then I finally got to make a project. Well, she, in the summers, our local like quilty sewing shop would have like kid sewing classes. And so I did a sewing class once where you made the puffy letters, made a tote bag, I made a pair of shorts. The shorts were terrible. I don't have an affinity for sewing clothing. People who do, you're awesome. But I can sew a bag. I can kind of look at something and figure out how it might be made. And I know that I love kind of the envelope style closure bags. And so I just kind of came up with an idea of how I thought they were made. They're not great. They work for me. But what I did was I made an Elton first. I did a fabric applique. I have also over the years dabbled in wool felt applique, as well as regular applique. And so I kind of have some knowledge about how to piece it and things like that. And so I made Elton, and then, and I used some batiks, and I am obsessed with him. I think he is adorable. And so Elton the koala adorns my envelope closure bag. So you can see I did not do the colored vinyl in the glasses. I like that you can see his eyes. And actually, these fabrics are metallic quilter's cotton. The eyes, the nose, and the mouth have like a metallic finish, which is kind of funky and weird. But so I did an envelope closure bag. This is a dark kind of chambray denim. And then I did mustard and white polka dots. This is all from my stash. So no stitch from stash. Credits were used. And in here is my one new start, which is, I chose to start one of the patterns because I had all the flosses for it and a good piece of fabric. The other ones I'm going to have to wait because I don't have everything, and I need to do some converting so that it will work with what I have in my stash. So this is Frosted Pumpkin Stitcheries with Love, and this is their chart for charity. And I am stitching this. This was actually a piece that I got in my Color and Cotton mystery grab bag, which I showed first in my Christmas Day. It's a Flosstube extra. It was holiday subscriber special. And this was part of a linen grab bag. I don't know which count it is. I think it's a 36. But it's a perfect minty color. I'll put this behind it. And I have a very brief start on some of the top leaves. I ended up just starting because I didn't want to start in the middle because I knew I had way too much fabric, and I love this piece. This will be great for another small. So I just started about 2 inches down from the top edge, which is all I was allotting for this one. And so this is going to be really cute. I need to put a little bit more into it. I just started it like on the 11th. So yeah, I have my other two charity pieces in here. I am going to go ahead also and purchase the Hands Across the Sea sampler. I love it, and I have seen where Raquel at Mrs. Sados is doing it in her silks. Love it. So I've got to figure out which of those I have and purchase the other one. She did say she might have a pack up. I'm not sure. Jan Hicks also put her conversion up, I believe. So there's some other options out there that stay in the same vein but are using some different materials. So I'm excited about this. Well, so Elton started a windfall of other project bags I made. So some of them you're going to see when I share WIPs, but I will go ahead and show you the ones that are holding projects that were not projects that were worked on this week. This is actually my other FFO. And I finished this piece. I started this piece in June, and I finished it like in September or August, maybe? I'm not exactly sure when I finished it. But this is Merry and Bright by Ship's Manor. It is a, it was originally a stitch along. I know that right now Erin T. Martini Stitcher is stitching this. Well, so I turned it into a project bag. So this is what it looks like. Now I did, and I just realized my Velcro, I did iron on Velcro. I need to go back and sew some of it on because it's not working great. I ended up putting the piece, so it wasn't resting on the bottom. I did put it up quite significant, but when I did that, I made sure my envelope left out the merry and bright. And I found this blue, like night sky, glittery kind of fabric. And then inside, I had this, which I thought was awesome because this kind of mirrors some of these vintage style ornaments. And so this was a piece that I really enjoyed stitching. I did it on 18 count Ada. It's kind of blowing out the colors. And I did my initials A, C, and V in the variegated. So the rest of them were charted in kind of the goldish tones. I ended up doing my initials A, C, V in, I think it was Lose Lolly. And so there's that. And my project bag is finished. And it is holding, what is it holding? I moved something in here. Oh, it is holding, oh yeah, my Nutcracker piece, my Mouse King and Queen from Little Room in the Attic. So I went ahead and moved that in there because it was kind of bunched in with about 7 other projects. Okay, so then I found this fabric in my stash, and I was like, this is going to be perfect. Can anybody guess which project? And it has this cute polka dotty, multicolored pink polka dot. This is holding my, where's my cover image? It's in the bag. Excuse the loudness. This is holding my Satsuma Street 12 Days of Christmas. Because I feel like this bird that's on this bag could easily, and the flowers could easily be designed by Satsuma Street. And so I actually have it so the birds are upside down on the back, but right side up on both the flap and the front of the bag. And then I also put one of my new Floss Buddies. This is the Bags Plus Floss Buddy. It's Alice, but it had the right amount of pockets. I think this is a 25 pocket. And so this is holding the flosses for this project because it's a more long-term. So I tried to pick some of my more long-term projects to use my Floss Buddies for. I actually think, hold on. Now come to mention it, I think when I was looking in here, I used one for this. I did. So this is the Mouse King and Queen. This is actually one of the ones I got. So it has 14 colors plus blends, but I haven't gotten any blends yet. And so this is a 12 pocket bendy flip. So I just have my black and white in the back. Yep, so I've used all those up. Oh no. So then I have this. This was a Riley Blake release. This was part of her Emerald City. I don't remember what it was actually called. Dorothy's Discovery or Dorothy's Dream. But this was like the Kansas print. And it's this really pretty light green with dark green. And then I did the coordinating. This was all in my stash. I did the coordinating dark green. And this is holding a project that really is in no way like... But this is one of my Stitch 9. And so I went ahead and put it in here. This is Strawberries and Stripes. It was the only one in that bucket, my Stitch 9 bucket, that didn't have a pretty bag. So it got a pretty bag. Okay, so I had to. This is the other piece I had that's also from that same Riley Blake collection. And so it's got this print. It's got Munchkinland, Tin Man. It's got Toto. Now the Cowardly Lion's on the back, the balloon's on the back. Actually, the Cowardly Lion's right here as well, and the Scarecrow, and the balloon, and the apple trees. And then it's got like Dorothy Plaid. This is holding my kitted up stuff for my restart of Emerald City Sal, which I will be doing on this really pretty piece of Mystic Fabrics, 18 count. And I'm going to be doing the Mrs. Sados silks that she sent me. And if you were the one who got the silks, I hope you are enjoying them. I hope they've made it to you safely. I haven't heard anything else, but this is my only other one. I've got some on my other projects that, excuse me, spam risk, that is not a project I worked on this week. And so this is a pretty black, and it's not showing up, but it's kind of like a sagey, light sagey green plaid. And the inside is these really pretty leaves. I had this in my stash as well. And this is holding my Lizzie Kate yearbook because it didn't have a nice pouch, and it's a year-long project. It also has one of my Floss Buddies, and this one is holding, this is my Hedgehog one. And I didn't want to pull off, Oh, I pulled off on my large ones like Victorian Mottos that don't fit in here. The smaller Gentle Arts and other ones will fit in these pockets kind of wound around. Victorian Mottos don't really. So what I do is pull off like 3 lengths and wound it around a bobbin. So there's the floss for that project. So those are some of the bags I made. I'm really excited about them. And let me clean that up. And let me go grab the Stitch from Stash. So hold on, not Stitch from Stash, past the Stash. Okay, so in kind of honor of hitting over 800 subscribers, I'm going to do a pretty big giveaway when I hit 1,000. I'm kind of starting to mull over my ideas about that because it is getting there pretty quick. I think I don't want to say that I like am anticipating it like tomorrow, but I am starting to kind of think about what I would like to share, and I'm thinking it'll be kind of like 10 of my favorite things, kind of a sort of thing. I don't know, we'll see. But I wanted to go ahead and do some Past the Stash. This was a chart and floss pack that I got as part of my Mystic Fabrics mystery box, holiday mystery box, and I had mentioned that when I saw it, it's beautiful, but it's just not something I ever see myself stitching, and so why not pass it along to one of you? And I know I've had a couple people that have been like, oh, I can't wait until you share that, and I'm going to try to get that and pass the stash. So I am going to be passing the stash on this Regal Mandala. This is a Dinky Dyes Designs. It's a beautiful chart, and it is charted in Dinky Dyes. It requires one of their skeins of dragon fruit, which is a solid, and then 2 skeins of this beautiful multicolored variegated called Carnival. And so it actually is going to come with those flosses as well. So you'll have to pick your fabric. They stitched it on a 28 count Cameo Peach Joblin. And on a 28 count, it's going to be 7.2 by 7.2. 32 count will be 6.25, 6.25. So this is a 100 by 100 design. So if you are interested in stitching this, please comment below Mandala, please. And it actually says Mandala, but let's do Mandala, which is M-A-N-D-A-L-A, Mandala. So Mandala, please. We like our kind words around here. So this is something that interests you. Have a go at it. I will keep it open for 2 weeks. So it would be the January 31st video. So that's kind of good timing. And standard rules apply. Don't say giveaway. I will delete your comment. Must be 18 years of age so that I can have your address legally. I will ship anywhere in the world. So if you're international, please do not hesitate to enter. Again, Mandala, please. So there's that. Passing the stash, passing the stash, passing the stash. So let's talk a little bit about what I worked on this week. So I kind of was all over the place, as usual. Although I am tending to like stick with as few projects a week as possible. However, I still tend to stitch on quite a few. So this week, my Barber Anna Bam, my Barber Anna Monday draw was needlework. And needlework is actually a freebie chart that is available on her Facebook group. Barber Anna Stitchers Society or something like that. I do link it below when I link this project. And I am stitching this in the beautiful silk that came in the Color and Cotton Harvest Mystery Box. So it's really, really pretty. And it's stitching up and variegating beautifully. And I am doing this on a piece of 32 count Oaken by Picture This Plus. And I got quite a bit done, actually. Let me move this floss out of the way because it is still on my Q-snap. I was still working on it as of the other day. So I finished out the word needlework, and as you can see, look at that variegation. I mean, that is pretty geniusly geniused. And then I stitched the needle and the thread, this little motif. I started here and I went ahead and did the spool, which again, look at that variegation, and then the pins that are in there. So this actually stitches up pretty quickly. Maybe I'll get a few more in before I do another draw on Monday. We'll see. I'm not promising anything. But so far I'm loving having that one little Barber Anna to work on throughout the week. and pull when I feel like it. Now last week I think I used Strawberry Time for a task. This week I did not. And so it did not get, it got quite a bit just because I had it available to me to stitch several times. I did go ahead and put some time into both of my WIP Go pieces for January. My January draws were Harvest Delivery by Plum Street Samplers and Prairie Schooler Tree Farm by, or Christmas Tree Farm by Prairie Schooler. I used one for each task. I'm not going to go into task details. This is my Harvest Delivery. It lives in a Love You More Studio co-pouch. It is on 36 count Veteris from Mystic Fabrics. And I got quite a bit this week. I'm actually pretty proud of my progress. I got the cart finished in the black. I do have to go back and fill in these little diamonds. And I did get the outline, the white outline of the horse. Now I realized after I started here and was doing the outline, I went bloop, 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 and I wasn't going to match up. Where am I off? 2 stitches. You know where I'm off 2 stitches? Right here. And so I'm just rolling with it. So instead of a horse of a different color, as in Wizard of Oz, this is a horse of unique wonkiness. And so I'm like, it's not going to be a finish. It is a finish, is what my WIP Go goal is. It will not get finished this month, but it's been called. So once it does get finished, it's pretty nice. I'm loving it. And so if you're not familiar with WIP Go, it was a concept created by Jessie Marie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's on Flosstube. She's also on Instagram, and now she has a group. It's WIP Go 2020. I will link it below. And each month she is drawing 2 numbers. So we created our WIP Go board. You can start now. You create a WIP Go board. It's like a bingo board. And each month, and you come up with your projects to go in and what your goal is. It could be a finish, it could be a page finish, it could be, some people have actually put starts in there. And I don't need to do that. I have enough starts. So she drew 2 numbers off the board, 6 and 12, which I like the idea of somebody else doing it. Because if it's me and I'm responsible, I'm probably going to be like, man, I don't want to work on that. I'm going to work on somebody else. I'll draw again, draw again, draw again. So she will draw them again, probably towards the end of January. She will draw February's number. There's 2 per month and a free space. So you have to come up with 24 projects. And then you can create rewards for yourself for straight bingos, postage stamps, blackout, blah, 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 blah. So I am doing bingos for Stitch from Stash Credit. So my other project that is also part of my WIP Go, and this lives in a Garonne tote bags. 12 by 13. And this is my Christmas Tree Farm by Prairie Schooler. And I am doing a complete wonky conversion on this. And this is on a piece of 18 count Ada in Ice Princess by Under the Sea Fabrics. And I love this every time I pull it out. This actually could get finished. It stitched up pretty quickly, but I still have quite a bit to do. So this time I focused, last week I focused on this house and part of this house and this tree. This time I let me get this a little bit better. This time I stitched this tree, stitched this one. This is this edge. And then I came down here and did the road up and around. And that is the bottom edge. Now there is a border that goes all the way around. I'm debating whether I will stitch it or not. We shall see. I think it needs it because this tree's like cut off and this house. We'll see. But so that's how it's coming along so far. I did actually pull 1 additional green. I have 4 greens, but with the amount of trees, I needed some more variety. So I did pull 1 more. And it was a Victorian motto. I'm considering sharing my conversion. It's not because I'm stingy. It's more because a lot of the ones I picked for it are Victorian motto like monthlies, which are not available past that month, or if you don't get them in that month's club, because she does like 18 and you get 6 or 12, or if you order all 18, you get all 18 each month. I don't do that many. I do 6. Or Color and Cotton mystery grab bags. And I could probably come up with the ones, because I think they're off dies of their actual ones, but I don't know that for a fact. Alright, so then I worked on, this is in one of my new project bags. So I found this cute fabric with some bear, with a bear with some clothes, a squirrel, a horse, And the inside is feathers. And this is holding another project that also did not have a bag. And I do not have a cover image for this on here. Let me pull it up on my iPad. This is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's 2020 Sal, which is called Animal Almanac. And this first month is Aurora the Penguin. And I'm trucking along on this. I'm very excited about where she is getting to. And actually I have one of my floss buddies in here. This is another 25 pocket. This is one that I ordered through Michelle's Bendy Stitchies live sale, but then I talked Karina to pick my fabric for it, and I loved this owl. I also have a Caddy Cross Stitch Snip Addy in here. And so there are that's the color palette. I have found homes for all my bags plus floss buddies. And I'm stitching this on an 18 count piece of Snert from Mystic Fabrics, and I know she has pulled it from her website for now. It will be coming back, but she found that it was not dyeing consistently, and so she's going to make sure that it does. I love this because it uses some of the DMC étoiles. All of the little snow globe shapes are the DMC étoile, and so I got to here. Notice both my penguins have beaks. He has a beak, and a foot. They're one stitch apiece. He has his beak. I got in the first of these lights. I also came down here. I kind of am doing a color completion of sorts. And so I'm trekking along on that. My goal is on these monthly ones to get them completed in the month that they're released. That's my goal. We shall see if I get there. Another one of my monthly pieces, and this is another one that I do not have the cover image, and I won't be printing it because each month it will look different. This is the Linens and Threads Mystery Sampler 2020. And this is what the first release looks like. I am doing this. Oh, this lives in my January bag of the month from Guerin Tote Bags, 12 by 18. And I worked quite a bit on the sampler. Just noticing where's my needle. Lost in the bag somewhere. Oh, there it is. Let's not lose that. Okay, so, and Grime Guard is by somebody on Etsy. I don't know. Here's where I got to on that. So to finish this release, I have 3 more legs of this shape right here, and then I have the butterfly. I'm going to wait to do the initials till the end. This is on a piece of 32 count Mystery from Mystic Fabrics. This was part of that Stitch Your Own Adventure that she sold, so it was a really big piece, and so I was like, I need to use that. All right, and then I pulled my palette of colors. These are my Gentle Arts that I am using. Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works. These were ones I already had bobbinated, so I was like, hey, I got a floss buddy. So I'm actually using my Patronus one that I got, my Harry Potter Patronus. It worked. I had exactly 12 colors, so there you go. So I'm excited to get that one finished and ahead of schedule. I am going to try my best to stick with both of those. I'd also like to get the Lizzie Kate January yearbook complete. That stitches up pretty fast. It's just a matter of like prioritizing it. This is a little bit of plans right now. An Animal Almanac. So yeah, I definitely want to get those. Okay, so then I worked on, this is another new bag. This is the last of the new bags. Yeah, I had to like make this and hide it because is that not incredible? My daughter was like, yeah, I want one. And I was like, you don't cross stitch, friend. Not yet. And then on the inside I have some cute plaid. Oh, I love it. And this holds, and I don't have an image for this either, and I just need to get one. This holds my, oh, come on, Donna Stitch Sleeping Beauty. And I am doing a color conversion on the fairies. None of them will be purple because I'm doing it like the movie where there's a green, a blue, and a red. And then I am also going to do Prince Philip's hair in brown. And the fairies will have appropriate hair color to themselves. Because, yeah, I just had to. This one has a floss buddy. This one is the 45. And I actually had enough to be able to have 3 bobbinated of the 3808. And my duplicates in here. In the back, I have my color page, and then this is the rest. This is the rest of the 3808. Everything is outlined in 3808. And this is the one that has the hedgehog panel. And it's the perfect amount for this project of slots, and so there you go. Plus, she was a friend to woodland animals. I debated using the owl for this because the owl was kind of her friend. The owl like wore the cape and did the dance kind of thing with her, but I wasn't enough pockets. So, and this one has a grime guard from Guerin Totem Bags. It is the pink fairy one, and I have a ton. And here's why I have a ton. Because when I started my homework task, I thought, oh, I need a starting image because I've never taken one because I've never used it for a task. Kept reminding myself, and then I got to stitch. Did 300, like I didn't even need 300 stitches, but I just kept going. I did 313 stitches, and then when I went to post my finish, I never took a starting photo. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to stitch some more. So I stitched 376 stitches. So I have close to 700 stitches. No, is that right? I have close to 700 stitches this week into this. And I have, this is the top center. So this is like vining, and this is that first rose. And I think I have determined. God bless me. I think I have determined that I'm going to stitch a lot of that before I start filling in colors, because I think it's motivating. I think I may change my mind, but I think it's kind of motivating. Plus, it's kind of soothing to continue to stitch that 3808. I'm going to be tired of seeing it, but whatever. So, I love my bag. I love my bags. I love all my bags. Okay, so then the last thing that I worked on this week, I am trucking along on this. And this is in a bag that I don't remember where I got it. It's a vinyl front project bag. I think it was somebody on Instagram. I don't know. This is Letters from Nora. And this is her V Fairy. I'm stitching this for Joy-Filled Little One. I'm doing a complete color conversion. And I need to take this off because it's not placed well to show this. All the things I did. So I've worked on this a lot because I'm trying to get it finished. I don't think I'll get it done by her birthday because it's beading and metallics. If I do the beading. I'm considering not doing beading. We'll see. I had considered doing Algerian eyelets instead of some of the beading. I don't know. But, so what did I do this week? I put in her hair. She is a blondie, so she has blonde hair. And this is, I think, Victorian Motto Honey Pot. I did all of the V, and I started filling in this pink. And what I did was I took and I counted up, and so my variegating's a little wonky, but that's okay, because these are big beads. And there's some beading strings of beads that go through here, and there's some that goes through here. So what I have left is the rest of this V to fill in, which is actually going fairly quickly now that I know exactly where to fill it in. I need to back stitch or outline her. Her wings need to be stitched. I need to decide what I want to stitch them in. I need to put in her little bit of back stitching face detail. And then I need to determine if I'm doing beads and pick them out. So, there's still a lot to do on this, but I'm loving it. And it's on a piece of 18 count Opalescent Aida from Mystic Fabrics that I got in a fabric game at some point right before I started, and I went, that would be perfect. And I started this on July 24th. And so I am almost to the 6-month mark. So, that's stuff falling out of my notebook. That is all my WIPs. So my plans. I briefly talked about that obviously I need to work on V Fairy. More time in that. I need to work on my January pieces, my Lizzie Kate yearbook, my Animal Almanac, and my Lens and Thread mystery sampler. I need to put some more time into my New Year, New Start. I only worked on it one day, and that is Count Your Blessings by Long Dog Samplers. And then I also really need to work on Great Is Thy Faithfulness, which is my kind of word of the year project. So that's that. Now, before I show stash, let me show one more thing I created because I'm really excited about it. And I am going to be putting these in my Etsy shop as well. And they are WIP cards. So I saw this idea when I was watching Janet Jabber. And she created for herself a card that has like a calendar on the front, like I think it was her 2019 calendar. And then she would put her WIP, and then on the back she did some handwritten notes. And so I took it a little bit further and made these for myself. And I'm going to put them in my Etsy shop really inexpensively, like maybe $1. So if it's something you're interested in, go check it out. And so, and I did this, like I went and formatted it and all of that. And so I have a 2020 full year's calendar. And then I have a spot to put the WIP name. And then on the back, I have WIP name, designer, fabric, floss info and details, start date, finish date, and total days. And then I have a spot for pictures. So let me show you what one of these looks like complete, because I have done one of these, because I did, the first one that I did was my temperature quilt, because I had finished it and it did have some work. So as you can see, I went through and I circled the 2 days that I worked on it in January. WIP name, temperature quilt. On the back, we've got WIP name, temperature quilt. Designer is at Hetty Ruckert. The fabric was 18 count opalescinated. Floss info is a DMC per temp chart. And then I put on here that it's first Algerian eyelets and my first 2020 finish. My start date was 1/6/19. My finish date 1/8/20. And then I worked on it 2 days in 2020, and I have no idea how many in 2019 because I didn't start really keeping accurate records until like March. So I could kind of come up with a number, but I haven't done that yet. And then pictures. So here's the deal on these. I have a HP Sprocket, one of those little mini printers that prints with the little zinc photo paper, which is 2x3. You can go in, I used to do this with my planner because my planners always had 1.5 inch by 1.9 inch boxes. And you can take and use a collage app, a free collage app. I use Pick Collage, and place 2 pictures on there. And then you print it out, cut it in half, and it's sticky. So I printed out for this a finished photo, my temp chart, so I could know what my temperature grit, what my colors were for my temperature. And then I actually, and I don't know why, oh, I did put it the right way. I put in my finish post from Instagram. And so it tells me my details from that Instagram post, as well as like how many likes it had. I know that's not really important to most people, but it's kind of exciting to see that it had, you know, a good amount of likes. And so now this is going to go into a box with my finishes. And then I have this pouch. I'm going to get a box, like a recipe type box, but I just had this pouch they fit in because this week at work during my little down times, I've been filling in details. So let me show you one that's in progress. So here is like Mystery Sampler, Linens and Thread Mystery Sampler 2020. It has the dates I've worked on it. And then on the back, it has some information. I have a spot for details. And I went ahead and started by putting in a picture of my this was from Instagram. Well, it's from my phone also. But the fabric with the floss toss. And so, obviously, I don't have a finished date and I don't have total days. So, what I did kind of also was I looked through, like, my ones I started in December. I was able to, with what's on my phone, know how many days I worked on it in 2019. So if it is a 2019 WIP, I'm going to try to, within reason, estimate how many days I worked on it in 2019. And then I'll have a total at the end of the year for 2020. So you get 2 to a page. It prints on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I printed mine on cardstock. I have a duplex printer, which means it will print both-sided. But you can absolutely take them to any copy shop or anything like that. And then I literally sliced it down the midline. And then I have a whole pack of cards, WIP cards. And so I am excited about this because I feel like it's one easy way. And so at the end of the month, I'm going to set aside time to pull out the projects I worked on, mark the dates they've been marked, the way we're worked on. And then each month I'll have that. I was also going to show you, I have mild liners, which are great little highlighters that are light. They're a planner thing. And so you can highlight. They have a point on one side and they have a chisel tip on the other. So I use the point. I use them a lot in my planner, in my cross stitch planner and my regular planner to highlight with the chisel tip. So look for those to come to my Etsy shop WIP cards, and I'll have them each year. I'll update to a 2021 card when it's time, and then this chart will also be in the shop soon. So last thing is not much, but I have in my joy-filled stashy stash bucket, I have two things. First thing I have is I this year was lucky enough to snag a spot in the So Much to Love Project Bag of the Month Club. So this is the January bag, and I love it. It's hard to tell, but it's got a subtle sparkle to the fabric around the berries. It's got a pretty red heart, felt heart, and the red trim. And then she always gives you additional goodies, and the inside is beautiful white on cream polka dots. And so this month the goodies included a snag nabbit, which I've heard about these and I'm excited to try it and see. A chart, some information about the club. The chart we got is actually her chart, and it's called Stitch More. And it says Stitch More, Stress Less, and it has this cute little needle detail. Well, she included that charm. And it actually uses 3 colors of DMC. However, 2 of them are converted to Victorian Motto, and she included those 2 Victorian Mottos, Cool Sage and Red Brick. So I thought that was kind of cool. I love my Victorian Mottos. And then a pack of Stash Tea, Organic Cascade Mint. So that was a cute little first month of the club. I'm excited. I actually did go ahead, and when she posted her December bags, I did go ahead and grab one. And so yeah, there's that. All right, so this did not count for Stitch from Stash budget because it was a club that I had joined prior to the new year. So yay. And find a fun project to put in that. This did, however, count. However, I found it from thanks to a recommendation of where to find it from Garrett Coffee Stitcher. I got it at Nancy's Notions. Last time I checked, I think she still had some. I will link it below. But she had it on for a good price. It was actually cheaper than Amazon by quite a bit. And because I had never purchased from her before and signed up for her newsletter, I got 10% off. So it didn't completely, well, it still put me in the red. But I'm hoping for some finishes because those monthly ones I can use as partial finishes. So I went ahead and bought the Veronique Inginger, I don't know. Fables and Fairy Tales to Cross Stitch, French Charm for your stitch work. And this is a thick book. I'm going to show you a couple of highlights, the ones that I'm like really excited about. And I'm going to do it without trying to show the chart. So the whole front part is Fables. I know that Garrett is doing this one. And this is City Mouse and Country Mouse. And I love that the pages are not shiny. This was one I particularly thought was adorable. This is the Tortoise and the Hare. And I love it how it's like through the path of the thing. And then it's got fairy tales. Look how cute. Princess and the Pea. Beauty and the Beast is adorable. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'm going to show you a few. Three Little Pigs I thought was so cute. Like the wolf prints and stuff. Love it. I want to stitch the house from Hansel and Gretel. I'm looking to see if there's any other ones to share with you. Oh, The Little Mermaid. Jennifer Upton, you need that for Ellery. Her love of unicorns and mermaids. Nutcracker. And then they've got a whole section of French nursery rhymes. So, super great value, tons of projects, vintage look to them, and so I am going to try to get the Christmas book too. I think Amazon had the Christmas book on a good price. So, that's all she wrote, folks. So if you hung in here, I don't think this one's as long as the other ones. We'll see. We'll see. It's just raining outside. We had, so last week, you know, last Friday was all crazy because we had to go to the closet and we had tornado warnings and then we had hail and then we had, actually I don't think we had hail. We had rain and it kept thundering and dog and child were all out of sorts. And it's funny because I've watched a lot of programs, sound like my grandmother, a lot of Flosstubes lately where the dogs have been bonkers. Like Jennifer Upton, I feel your pain. It's like your dog only wants to go in and out when like you're doing a video. Yeah, he's locked out right now. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of WIP parades, a lot of 2020 plans. I've been enjoying every single second of it. I'm going to be sad when they're all done. Because who doesn't love a good long WIP parade? And if you haven't watched one and you're new, go check it out. Because you can see like 66 WIPs. Yeah, let me tell you, the fact was not lost on me about how many WIPs I have when I was filling out those WIP cards. And my hand was like cramping. I was like, you have too many WIPs. But I did have 2 that I didn't make a card for yet. Because I think that they are ones that were in that question mark pile that have not been pulled yet. And at the end of January, I'm going to possibly say, see ya. Say, go floss, go back to the stash. Fabric, go find something else. I think we're approaching that. So anywho, I will see you next Friday for Flosstube number 36. I don't even know if I said this was Flosstube number 35, but it is. It's 35. And yeah, I'm about to go have some dinner, have some relaxing stitching time. It's only 5:45. Maybe watch some Flosstube, maybe watch some Gilmore Girls. Maybe. We shall see. So anywho, I hope you have a great week ahead. Happy stitching. Find something that brings you joy and do it. And if that's stitching or something else, you know it's great in my book. So with that, guys, I will see you next week. Bye.